The music world has lost one of its most innovative and quietly influential figures with the passing of Roli Mosimann, the Swiss-born drummer, producer, and electronic musician, at the age of 68. While his name might not have been as widely recognized as those of the artists he worked with, Mosimann's fingerprints are on some of the most groundbreaking music to come out of the post-punk, industrial, and experimental rock scenes of the last several decades. His passing is not just the end of a life, it marks the conclusion of a unique creative journey that spanned multiple genres, geographies, and musical revolutions. Roli Mosimann was born in the picturesque town of Thun, Switzerland, in 1956. As a child, Mosimann was drawn to music, initially studying piano and guitar. But it wasn't until his teenage years that he found his true calling, drums. His rhythmic sensibilities were distinct from an early age, and he quickly became known in the Swiss music scene for his unconventional drumming style, which merged the precision of classical training with a natural inclination towards experimentation. In the early 1970s, Switzerland wasn't exactly a hotbed for the avant-garde or post-punk movements, but Mosimann's curiosity and hunger for the unknown would soon lead him far beyond the borders of his homeland. He moved to New York City in the late 1970s, at a time when the city's underground music scene was in full swing. Bands like Talking Heads, Television, and Suicide were redefining the limits of what rock music could be, and Mosimann quickly immersed himself in this world of sonic possibility. Mosimann's biggest break came when he joined Swans, a band that would become legendary for its intense and uncompromising approach to music. Formed by Michael Gira in 1982, Swans were one of the most brutal and extreme acts to emerge from the New York no-wave scene. Their early sound was characterized by slow, pounding rhythms, dissonant guitars, and Gira's tortured vocals. Mosimann's drumming became a central element of this sonic assault. As the band's drummer, Mosimann contributed to Swans' first few albums, including their influential debut, Filth, 1983, and the follow-up, Cop, 1984. His drumming was like nothing else in rock music at the time, minimal yet thunderous, repetitive but dynamic. It felt as though each beat was being hammered out of raw material. Mosimann's playing helped define Swans' early sound, which combined the visceral intensity of punk with a hypnotic, almost ritualistic, approach to rhythm. However, Mosimann's time with Swans wasn't just about brute force. He also contributed to the band's gradual shift toward more atmospheric and experimental territory, particularly on the EP, Young God, 1984. His work on the track, I Crawled, demonstrated a different side to his musicianship, combining rhythmic tension with eerie, spacious soundscapes. This foreshadowed his later career as a producer and electronic musician, where texture and atmosphere would play a key role. After leaving Swans in the mid-1980s, Mosimann transitioned into a role behind the mixing desk, where his talents as a producer would allow him to explore an even wider range of sounds and styles. His first major success as a producer came when he worked with the Manchester-based band The Young Gods. Named after the Swans EP, The Young Gods were an industrial rock band whose sound fused electronic sampling with live instrumentation. Their music was far ahead of its time, and Mosimann's production work on their albums helped solidify their status as pioneers in the genre. Mosimann's work with The Young Gods would prove to be a launching pad for his production career. He became known for his ability to meld organic and electronic sounds, an approach that would see him work with a wide array of artists, including Fetus, Einstürzen Nubauten, and even mainstream acts like Faith No More. Perhaps his most iconic production work came in the late 1980s when he collaborated with Wire, the British post-punk legends. Wire's 1987 album, The Ideal Copy, was a critical turning point for the band, as it marked their shift from angular guitar-driven rock to a more electronic and sample-based sound. Mosimann's ability to blend experimental production techniques with the band's sharp songwriting made The Ideal Copy a landmark release, not just for Wire, but for the post-punk genre as a whole. In addition to his work as a producer, Mosimann also pursued a solo career as an electronic musician. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, he released a series of albums and EPs that showcased his mastery of rhythm and texture. His solo work often defied easy categorization, drawing on elements of ambient music, industrial, techno, and even jazz. One of his most celebrated solo releases was Metronome, 1996, an album that combined intricate electronic programming with live percussion. The record was hailed for its forward-thinking approach to rhythm, with critics praising Mosimann's ability to create complex, interlocking beats that felt both mechanical and organic. Mosimann's later work saw him increasingly drawn to the world of film soundtracks and multimedia art. He collaborated with a number of visual artists and filmmakers, creating immersive soundscapes that blurred the line between music and sound design. In many ways, his late career output was a continuation of the ideas he had explored with Swans and the Young Gods, the intersection of noise and melody, chaos and control, brutality and beauty. Roli Mosimann, cause of death. It's with a heavy heart that I have to announce the passing of Roli Mosimann. Roli died at 2:15 a.m. this morning in hospital in Wrocław, Poland, from lung cancer. Roli was my partner in my project Wise Blood. We released the album Dirt Dish, the EP PTTM and the 12th single Motor Slug and played live extensively. I was drawn to working with him after seeing his incredible drum skills in Swans. Roli was also acclaimed for producing the Swiss band Young Gods and working with Jojo Meyer and among many others. He was a questing musician and a sonic sculptor. He was also a great guy, and, as his first wife Alexa said, lover of women, wine and song. My heart goes out to his family and those whose lives he touched. Despite his extensive body of work, Mosimann remained a relatively low-profile figure throughout his career. He was never interested in the limelight, preferring instead to let the music speak for itself. His influence, however, is undeniable. His drumming with Swans helped lay the foundation for the industrial and post-metal genres, while his production work with the Young Gods, Wire, and others pushed the boundaries of what rock music could be. In the end, Roli Mosimann's legacy is one of constant exploration and innovation. He was never content to stay within the confines of any one genre or style. Instead, he approached music with a fearless curiosity, always searching for new ways to manipulate sound and rhythm. His death at the age of 68 marks the end of an era, but his influence will continue to reverberate through the work of countless artists who were inspired by his unique vision. In a world where many musicians are content to repeat the same formulas, Roli Mosimann was a true original, a musician who saw sound as an endless playground of possibility. He may be gone, but the echoes of his music will continue to inspire and challenge listeners for years to come. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to daily updates and never miss a video.